This is the story of Mary, the mother of Jesus. When Mary was a little girl, she wondered what it would be like when she was all grown up. The years went by, and one day something happened that no one could explain. The angel Gabriel came to her and said, "God has chosen you to give birth to the Son of God." But what did that mean? She was about to get married to a wonderful man who was a carpenter in Nazareth. His name was Joseph. Then the angel came to Joseph and said that Mary was going to have a baby, and that the baby was God with us. Now Joseph was confused too, but Joseph and Mary were married anyway, and the baby was born. They named him Jesus. Many more things happened that were hard to understand. When Jesus was just 8 days old, they took him to the temple in Jerusalem to present him to God, as was the custom. Old Simeon was there waiting. When he saw Jesus, he said something like this, "Now I can die. I have seen the Messiah." When Jesus was about 12, Mary and Joseph lost him in Jerusalem, but found him in the temple. He said, "Didn't you know that I would be in my Father's house?" But Joseph's house was in Nazareth, where the carpenter's shop was. The boy became more confusing as he grew to be a man. When he began to teach, he returned to his home synagogue, and he read from the scroll of Isaiah about the coming of the Messiah. He then said that he was the one. Mary must have remembered the angel Gabriel, but the people of Nazareth were angry. They tried to throw him off a cliff. At a wedding, he changed the water into wine, and another time, Mary and his brothers came to see him when he was teaching. He said then that those who followed him were his family, not them. Now his brothers were confused too. Then Jesus went to Jerusalem for the last time, and Mary was there. When they put him on the cross, she stood watching, probably standing near John. People have written beautiful and sad music about this. It is called the Stabat Mater, because the mother was standing there. What was she thinking? Then Jesus lifted his head and spoke to her. "Woman, behold your son." And then he said to a disciple, "Behold your mother." The disciple, who was probably John, took her into his own home and cared for her in her old age. When they took Jesus down from the cross, Mary was still there. Sometimes you will see a statue or a painting of Mary holding Jesus in her lap. It is called a pietà, which means pity and a kind of devotion. That is how she felt. The next day was very quiet and empty for Mary. Then, on Sunday, the first Easter, she and the other women walked slowly back to the place Jesus had been put into the tomb. She needed to be close to him. They found that the stone had been rolled away, and that somehow Jesus was still with them, as he is with us today. When the disciples returned from Mount Olivet after Jesus ascended, Mary and his brothers were with him. They waited in the upper room with the others. Mary was there a week later, when the sound of a mighty wind filled the room, and the Holy Spirit came like fire. No one knows when Mary died or was buried, but she was truly the Mother of God. When she was all grown up, she kept on growing. People still feel close to her. They name churches after her and make pilgrimages to a place where she seems especially close. This is one of those stories, then, that never ends. So instead of ending it, we will put down some of Mary's flowers. These are forget-me-nots. She will never be forgotten. Now, I wonder, what part of this story you like the best? I wonder what part of this story is the most important. I wonder what part is about you, or especially for you. And I wonder if we could leave out any of the story and still have all that we need. Thank you for listening to the story of Mary, the Mother of Jesus.